And we are back again. I, this is one of the people who really helped me elevate my content creation game. Flew halfway across the country, met him at a game. The Cowboys didn't necessarily win. But, without further ado, I got my guy, Jay Tuck, in the building with me. How you feeling today, Tuck?
Yeah, what's going on, bro, man? Thanks for having me on. Yeah, man, that was a interesting game here in Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't wait till the actual rematch, but what we're going to talk about here in a second, I might not, because we might not have a quarterback to come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been waiting for the Chiefs to return to Dallas, man, but I'm going to do it with Dak Prescott, bro. But yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely, bro. And one of the reasons that I got to have you on, bro, you really the man in Cowboy Stadium in Jerry World. if they can replace the Jerry and just make it Jay Tuck World, you are really the guy in that stadium.
I mean, salute to Cowboys Nation, man. They kind of giving me the platform, out there, man. But it's like, that's the thing I was just saying a second ago. It's like when it comes to Cowboys Nation, like that's my reward. Like, doing the content, doing the shows, the film breakdown, all that's cool. But to go out and meet the people, shake the hands with the people, like that's my ultimate reward, man. So I definitely enjoy it, embrace it, man, when I'm out there at the stadium and people's like, yo, I'm CFO gang, or saying, what's up, it's your boy Jay Tuck, or what I'm saying? So it's like that love that I get when I'm outside, man. It just motivates me and gives me my drive to do what I do day in, day out.
Absolutely, bro. And one thing about it, and this is I gotta big up you for a second, because your meteoric rise through this game is untold, bro. You started in the CeeDee Lamb draft season.
Yeah. So CeeDee Lamb, me predicting CeeDee Lamb was going to be the draft pick for the Cowboys, my very first video on the channel. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I was like, if it was up to me, little old me, as I said, it would be CeeDee Lamb out of University of Oklahoma. And of course, back then, who is this guy? He's horrible. CeeDee Lamb is not going to be there. Like, this channel is trash. So you start to think that, you're like, oh damn, what I'm saying? Like, maybe what the hell I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of been my start back in 2020. And I was just telling someone that too as well. It's like, I started on an old college laptop that I had, MacBook 12. And funny thing is, like, as successful as I've been, I still use that same laptop because, like, a reminder of me, like, it's slow as hell. You know what I'm saying? It's slow as hell, but it reminds me, like, this is what you started on, Tuck, right here in this room. This room was empty. It was a playroom for my kids. It was toys and all sorts of stuff here. But Dad propped up a laptop on a lunch tray, dropped a quick little video real quick, and then it all kind of started from there, man. So I'm ever grateful and thankful and blessed to be in the situation that I'm in.
No doubt, bro. Hey, I appreciate you being the figure to move towards. You and a lot of other guys are the pedestal that we're looking to put ourselves on. Smaller content creators like myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's good, man, because it's like, I feel like with the Cowboys community specifically, we all get that standard to kind of aim for. Like, for me, I said this on Twitter today, it's like when I came in 2020, you had the late night hype, which was Law Nation, Big Game James, and Skywalker Steel. And so if I know, like, man, I want to be considered like those guys, I have to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to work. I had to grind. And, one of the very first shows I did was with Skywalker Steel. And I remember just sitting there, and my mom's, Mama Tuck, she hit me. She's like, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to put in the work. Because he was talking about, like, Daryl Worley, where Daryl Worley went to school. And, so like, I'm like, oh, I know the main players, bro. I don't know about no Daryl Worley from the Raiders and what position and his stats he played. So it really set the standard, like, okay, now we got to work. You got to dive into the film. You got to dive into the draft. You got to dive into your production and how you conduct your tonality and build your brand and, those different things. Where when I was finally on the Final Word and also the late night hype, it wasn't a surprise. It was like, Jay Tuck belongs to be here because the fans were asking to see me on the show. So it made it so much easier, man. So salute to those guys. And that's all I'm trying to do, is just set the standard and show everybody, and just not, small content creators, big, large, like, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? I went from my college laptop in 2020 to interviewing the Super Bowl MVP, just that quick. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to show people it's possible. And, a lot of people need to respect what we do in our community.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And one thing I can appreciate, from when I first started in the game, I kind of started right around that same time. I think I started in 2019, right before 2020. but you've always shown me love, bro. And even when we came out there for the game, the first thing you did, here's my number, hit me up.
Yeah.
So one thing I can always say is I appreciate you for that.
Yeah. Stay solid, man. I think that's the hardest thing. Sometimes people get caught up in the glitz and the glamour and people shout your name, bro. Just stay solid, bro. You rock with me, I rock with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell a quick story. I was out walking my dog the other day. It's funny. I was talking to Rome, it's about some Cowboys. That's how much we do this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I was talking to Rome, and somebody in my neighborhood pulled up to me and was like, yo, can I ask you a question? I thought they were trying to sell me something. So I was like, no, I had my dog, my dog was geared up. And she came up to me and it's like her and her husband. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, are you Jay Tuck? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh my God, I knew it was you. You know what I'm saying? We huge supporters. Like, and so I talked to bro for a little bit, man. And so I got his number and we went out to kick it the other day and watched some, the Final Four, had some drinks and stuff. Hell, he's about to come work out at the house, tomorrow morning in the gym. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
real life friends.
Yeah, I just show love. You know what I'm saying? For the people who show love to me. It happened, when I was out there in Las Vegas too for covering the boxing event. Ran to a few people who worked at the hotel who was CFO gang. So I know sometimes when we do content, we don't know how big what we're doing, the impact is. I don't know there's people in Las Vegas and all sorts of people watching, but it's refreshing, it's rewarding, man. Just stay solid, be who you are. I was like this before I ever turned on the camera. It's gonna be who I am, when I turn it off. So
absolutely, bro. Then that's for sure. So Tuck, I was listening to music today, as I usually do. It was J. Cole.
Okay.
One person I'm not gonna switch up on. And I like to ask myself questions as I'm coming up with ideas for videos. And the question that I asked myself is, why do the Cowboys always wait and play games with their players when it's time to pay them?
Yeah, well, not to mimic J. Cole, be more like Jadakiss. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a huge why, right? Because you see how other teams are being proactive versus reactive, which I always talk about, a proactive mindset versus a reactive. And it feels like Cowboys always just wait to the last minute. Now, I'm not sure if they're waiting for cap increases or different things to kind of go through before they make these decisions, but it's costly, right? And I think someone is like Walter Sharp put out an article where he had a podcast talking about, if you look at how much historically since like 2009, the Cowboys have spent on their cap, it's been minimal. So this whole narrative that the Cowboys don't be aggressive in free agency just due to their quarterback is false. You know what I'm saying? That's not the case, right? So here we are with the situation in 2024 with Dak Prescott. Well, why are we in this situation, B? It's because when we had the opportunity to get a jump on Carson Wentz and get a jump on Jared Goff, what do? Franchise tagged them twice and kicked the money downhill. So as Dak Prescott would say, here we go. Now it's time to pay the piper for you. Yes, so you have to pay for what you didn't pay those first 4 to 5 years, right? So it's frustrating because they don't do it. They don't get a jump on it. And here's what I'll say. If you reward players for the efforts that they put on the field, they're more than likely to work with you. You see what I'm saying? Yes. I'm sure when the Eagles went to Devontae Smith, it's like, yo, bro, I know you're not going to come up due until actually next year. Will we appreciate and we value you? Let's just give you a new deal right now.
That's right.
He wasn't going to try to crack them over the head. Like, now I'm going to wait till just like, all right, bro, like, damn, you're going to get me out my rookie deal because you really value what I do. The Cowboys just don't do that. You have to fight, scrape, run the cabo, and all these different things to get your money. And it's just like, you don't feel value. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have to be damn near the MVP of the league, but also you still have to fight and scrape to get what's due, it just makes you not want to work with the team. Absolutely. And I feel like the Cowboys have backed themselves in the corner. And I was saying this earlier, not just with Dak's contract, because that's going to be a fight in itself. Now you got 2 fights with CeeDee Lamb. And those are 2 heavyweight bouts you got to fight, and you have to get it done pretty much before camp. And then you also have Micah coming off the top rope. So, by them sitting on their hands, doing nothing, they back themselves in the corner, and it's going to be interesting to see how things, turn. But to answer your question, why? I don't know. The only reason I can think why is just because possibly they think, okay, if we can wait and then maybe, move her some money. And, it's just one of those people, we all got this homeboy, you go out to the club. It's like, yo, B, bro, buy me a few drinks. I ain't got it right now. I'm gonna cash app you when you get to the crib. Bro, if you ain't pay for the drinks right now, you ain't gonna be able to cash it. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like just say you ain't got it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Are you just being greedy? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why, man, but it needs to change because I feel like it really puts the Cowboys in a bad predicament, especially as we lead up to the NFL draft.
Absolutely, man. And I think that we have a lot of examples right now and in the past of the Cowboys not operating in good faith.
Right.
For example, right now we just saw what happened with Devonta Smith. An average per year of $25 million, but then you have to look at the guarantees and see how they really showed them love there, right? Mm-hmm. And that just makes CeeDee Lamb not want to, play ball with them.
Right.
As you can see, he's sitting out of the voluntary workouts. Mm-hmm. Then you have to look at, how they went about DeMarcus Lawrence contract situation in the past. They also franchise tagged him twice. Mm-hmm. If I recall, that was before Dak Prescott, so that might have been 16 and 17.
And he had to threaten the surgery to hold out.
Absolutely, absolutely. But now you have what just came out today. Trevor Lawrence is starting preliminary. Wow, that word beat me up. Mm-hmm. Talks with the Jaguars. Mm-hmm. And while he doesn't have to get paid right away, they have enough confidence in him and the wherewithal within their organization to get that done early, as opposed to what we're currently going through with Dak Prescott. Whether you like him as a player or not, you have to kind of shake your head at what the team is doing with him.
Right. Yeah. And you mentioned Trevor Lawrence, right? Because what is the Jacksonville Jags trying to prevent? All right, let's get this deal done, maybe possibly before Dak Prescott gets his deal done and resets the market, right? So it's just smart business. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing is like for a $1 billion franchise who's always speaking about their business brand, their financial acumen, how they handle things just doesn't feel like $1 billion organization, right? It's just like, why not go out there and just get the job done ahead of time? Because the longer you sit and wait, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you're going shopping, right? You say, you know what? I'm gonna buy some brand new Jordans. Okay, you see them on sale at one store; they're $250. You're like, man, I might come back next week and grab them, bro. Just get the Jordans. You want them, you need them. You know these are the shoes you've been looking for. Why not just get them? Now, granted, you can go to a few other malls. You might find it for $150 or $180 or whatever, but more than likely, you're gonna need to get those Jordan sneakers for $250. You circle back around and you think, damn, man, I wish I would have started grabbed them J's, bro, when they was on sale. Now they're going for $300. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the problem with the Cowboys. It's just not just with the contracts this offseason. It's been a lack of sense of urgency. And I even go back to February because a lot of people are saying, man, Dan Quinn self-sabotaged this and self-sabotaged that. Okay, whatever you want to believe to kind of deal with what happened in Green Bay. But while Dan Quinn was out there moonlighting, doing all these interviews, and you knew there was a high probability this time he could actually go, why were you sitting on your hands and not interviewing other defensive coordinators?
There we go.
There's so many young defensive coordinators out there. You can say, listen, Dan Quinn, you can go out, you know what I'm saying? You can go out and do your thing, but we're going to bring some people in where it could have been a situation. Listen, Dan, we love what you did for us, but we found a guy who fits our mold and what we're trying to build here in Dallas. So we're going to have to move on. But what do? They sit on their hands, let Dan Quinn kind of go out there moonlighting, got passed over in Seattle, and he comes back to the Shrine Bowl, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, and then had on his Cowboys uniform and then said, you know what? I think I'm going to go to Washington. Horrible job. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. Like, you really didn't go to Washington. That's all you had to offer. But you went to Washington. Cowboys said, okay, well, we're just going to, make Joe Witt our defensive coordinator. Oh, well, actually, I'm going to take Joe Witt to Washington with me. And you're lucky you're saying you pinned down Al Harris. I was going to take him with me. So it's like one of those things. So now you're scrambling. Who can we find? I don't know. Rex Ryan or I don't know. Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer's an old friend of mine. Let me call him and see if he can still come in here for a 1-year deal and be our defensive. So you sat back and didn't show any sense of urgency. So you did that with the defensive coordinator. Now you're doing with the players. You didn't have any sense of urgency in free agency. Everything got picked over. And the sad part, y'all, is that they believe what they're doing. They believe they're cooking. You know what I'm saying? They believe they cooking. You know what I'm saying? And that's the crazy part. It's the crazy part, man. It's like we all had those friends who step out to the club and they think they're the flyest person out there. We got to tell them, that don't match, bro. that don't match. But right now, nobody is telling the Cowboys what they got on don't match. You know what I'm saying? It don't match. Your outfit looks goofy, bro. You need to change it up. And if you're wanting to compete, not for division, not for occasional playoff win, for a championship, you're going to have to switch your mentality, because what you're seeing right now, I think the Rams kind of laid the foundation. A lot of people think what Howie's doing is genius. No, he just sat back and said, you know what? The Rams got an idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're being aggressive, so you can go all in. But the Cowboys don't want to do it for whatever reason, and we might have to pay the ultimate price.
Yeah, I believe so. Because once you earn distrust in the players, you know, they're going to explore every option.
Right.
For example, you know, this year you have to worry about CeeDee Lamb. Next year you have Micah and geez, why can't I remember the other corner's name? Yeah, DaRon Bland. Jesus, my mind said Damone Clark. I knew I was wrong.
Right.
You have to worry about Micah and DaRon Bland. So somebody
and Osa.
Yeah, and Osa. Yes. So someone is going to be able to sneak out the door before the Cowboys can close it, and that comes to their reactive instead of proactive nature. What do you feel is going to be the end result? Like, are you expecting a positive one, or what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, man, and that's a tough question. You know, ideally, I would like for Dak to get extended. I think that would kind of give me some kind of peace of mind. Plus, it will open up different avenues for us to kind of go and get some things that we kind of need, especially with CeeDee Lamb. But if I have to gauge it, I think that both sides have drawn their foot in the sand, and I don't know, because I don't think that Dak is going to budge at all. Where it's like, you know what? I'm going to bring down my price. You know, I played the MVP level. You guys went and traded a 4th round pick for a quarterback to kind of push me out. You don't support me. You smear my name every opportunity you get. Yeah, I'll do you guys a favor, right? I just don't think that's going to be the case. And I just don't think the Cowboys are going to meet Dak there as well. And if we don't get this deal done before we get to camp, Dak shuts everything down. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know what I'm saying? We get to camp out there in Oxnard, it's a done deal. So there won't be no negotiating. So I don't think the Dak deal gets done. If I had to gauge it, I think CD gets done before Dak.
Yeah.
And we're going to go in with Dak with this cap hit, 1-year deal. And maybe they'll try to sell us on, you know, next year, you know, once the cap raises, they'll have some opportunity to get back to negotiations with Dak. And that's when everybody's going to get the opportunity to holler at him. And I don't think that's going to win in that case. So it's unfortunate, right? It's very unfortunate, but it's just a situation where I think the Cowboys are letting their ego get in over on what's actually the number one priority, which is the on-field product. And it just is what it is.
Yeah, man. The bad part about Dak Prescott's situation, well, great for him. He has ultimate control of his NFL destiny next year because he can't be tagged.
Right.
So you're exactly right. We'll hope that this gets done with him sooner rather than later. I know not everybody wants to keep him, but you know, whatever. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You mentioned J. Cole, right? So going back to what's been the hot topic button, you know what I'm saying, with his future, you know what I'm saying, in Metro, it's like Dak Prescott had to put these things in his contract, which was the snag last time, because I don't trust you. We don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to shoot you. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at right now. It's like, I had to put the no franchise tag clause in there. I had to put the no trade clause in there because I don't trust that you're going to do right by me. And I just don't think that Dak and the Joneses have this relationship.
There we go.
And, you know, hearing Tad Prescott talk, he was on a podcast. I forgot who he was with. I think it was with Henny and Landlord, I think.
Yeah.
But he was talking about the real relationship that Dak has with anybody in Dallas is Mike McCarthy. You know, it's like they play jokes, they talk about life. Like he's with Mike McCarthy more than me. He's like, honestly, he said something crazy. He's like, I think Mike McCarthy knew that my brother was expecting a new child before I even knew. That's that relationship. So I feel like, you know, it's going to kind of be this thing where it's like Dak and Mike McCarthy versus Jerry and Steven. Like, all right, bro, they trying to screw you over. They got me on a 1-year deal. So maybe they'll rally together. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting to see how that all works out. Or it might be a situation like, yo, bro, after I get up out of here, I'm going to Vegas. So just follow me over to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, it might be a situation like that. So It's bad for us as Cowboys fans because nothing
Yeah.
we've done this offseason says we're all in on winning a championship. It says we're just cool. Whatever happens, happens.
And here's the thing, Dak and McCarthy kind of have a allyship going on right now because they're both at the end of the bridge,
Right.
With their Cowboys tenure, and this year can kind of determine it,
Right.
for all intents and purposes. So yes, they're close, but then they also have a vested interest in each other's future as well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it happens. I mean, even it happens with us. Like I went through it, man. I knew I was working for a company and I knew they were trying to lay us off. And me and my homeboy was like, bro, before we get up out of here, like let's just go crazy on the sales and just blow up a commission before we get, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it came to the point where they were trying to lay us off, like they couldn't because they were looking at like, bro, well, you know, saying Tuckerton was killing it. You know, saying, can we lay them off? Like, nah, bro, I'm taking the severance package and I'm getting my commission up out of here. You know what I'm saying? So when they try to talk me back in, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those situations, and I definitely understand it. Now for us, it sucks, but for me, Dak deserves better. You know what I'm saying? Like it is like he shouldn't have to fight and prove himself being this deep into the NFL. Like every time, like it's bad enough trying to prove yourself on the field to win a championship. I gotta improve myself with my coworkers and you know what I'm saying, everything. Like it's always back to the wall and do it again. Okay, 2020, we're franchise tag, you broke your ankle. Okay, we'll do it again. And now we're in 2024. Okay, you had an MVP season, we'll do it again. Like enough's enough. Like, can you just reward me for the efforts that I've done on the field? And if I'm just a Cowboys player, say I'm DeRon Bland, say I'm, say I'm young, Jake Ferguson. I'm sitting back thinking, well, damn, they doing Dak this way. How they gonna do me? You know what I'm saying? Like, talk about it. Like, I'm just a nickel corner, and I broke history with interceptions, but they did the MVP dirty. They gonna do me hella dirty. So it puts you in defense mode versus, no, I go out and ball out, man. They're gonna do right by me. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do a deal and keep it moving and stay in Dallas. So it's just a bad cultural environment.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think that, once again, going back to the culture thing, the culture in Dallas is for guys to kind of have a good, I would say almost familial relationship with the Joneses. Chris is in the comment. He's not with us today, but he said, did they have a great relationship with anyone but Romo? In the Romo days and in the early Dak days, that was kind of the norm. They spoke a good game about their relationship with like Sean Lee, Jalen Smith, of course Jason Witten. But as time has gone on into the new generation of younger players, I believe that they keep them at arm's length. Tad Prescott and Micah Parsons' brother even both spoke about this during that time earlier in the offseason when they were, I hate to use the word ranting because that puts a negative connotation on it, but when they were speaking out on Twitter, well, now X,
right? They
spoke about the Cowboys' current business relationship with guys and how a lot of guys choose to keep them at arm's length and keep it strictly professional. Yeah. Do you think that causes harm in the way that the Cowboys do business? Because historically they've been kind of close with the guys.
Yeah, I think it's smart, right? Because I think what happens is they use the personal relationship for business leverage. And I've always said this, right? Think about players like Randy Gregory, right? They like players who are always indebted to the Cowboys. So if you're coming off an injury, oh, well, thank you guys for leaving me. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Cowboys gave Michael Gallup a deal, you know what I'm saying? Because I tore my, like, they like when you're indebted to them. You have some off the field issues. Hey, well, remember when we helped you guys out? Like, Randy, how can you do this to us? We stuck by your side. Like, work this out with us. And you mentioned, I saw someone in the chat mention Romo. Like, think about this. Romo even said after he played, like, and he was like starting to merge a little bit. Him, Jerry Jones, and Bill Parcells went into like a little broom closet.
Yeah, I remember this.
And just put a deal onto the table and was like, sign it on some Suge Knight stuff.
Sign it or you not gonna play.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these little tactics. And Dez Bryant even mentioned like one time he was just, talking to Jerry, and Jerry's like, come up to my office and try to negotiate the Dez without an agent. You know what I'm saying? So like these sneaky little backdoor tactics where it's like you really can't trust the front office. So you'll see players now. Yeah, maybe I'll go sit in the suite with Jerry. Maybe, but I'm not gonna be, all arms around you because you're going to try to use that as leverage against me. And when it's business time, it's business time. When it's personal time, it's personal time. I don't think Dak hates Jerry, Stephen Jones, or anything like that. But he went and hired Todd France for a purpose. I need me a killer. It's just like if you're going in court, right? I need me a killer lawyer that I know no matter what's gonna get the deal done. That is Todd Francis. Todd Francis got no friends, no nothing. When it's time to come and kill, he gets the deal done because he represents not only Dak Prescott, he represents Josh Allen, and this guy here in Kansas City is getting half a billy. You know what I'm saying? So you bring it in, you went and got you a big dog. And so, you know, I think that's why a lot of younger players, it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? That's my owner. Yeah, I like Jerry. I thank you for all the things that you've done. But when it's time to get paid, you stay over there. You're going to talk to my homeboy in the middle. And I'm going to go do my thing because, you know, they'll get sneaky. Now they'll get a few, you know, they'll get a few. They'll get the Sam Williamses. They'll kind of get, you know, those types of players. But the real big dogs, nah. Because David Mujeta, who is Micah Parsons' agent, he's never have none of that either. So
he's another warrior in negotiations.
Oh yeah. So he has all the top dog linebackers. So like he certain agents have niche markets. Like I got all the linebackers. That's where I focus on, all the running backs and different things like that. So Dave got the dogs. You know what I'm saying? So so it's not going to go easy. And Mike is one of those who's not going to go out quietly. You know what I'm saying? He's not just going to sit there and show up to voluntary camp still and work line. He's going to turn his mic on. It's going to be all
or Terrence is going to speak about
it. Or Terrence, man. Yeah, somebody going to speak about it, man, because Mike is not going out like that. And rightfully so, you know? All versus the moment you stepped in the building, work ethic, sack leaders, like all sorts of stuff. But everybody, just human beings, want their worth.
Yeah.
You know? And we're always going to ask for a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're doing a job,
I want some more money today for my job.
Yeah, if you're doing a job interview and they post on LinkedIn it's 100,000, well, I'm asking for 110. You know what I'm saying? And if you give me 105, okay, cool. Depends on everything else, but you always trying to get equal value.
Absolutely, man. One thing that you mentioned is the Cowboys want players to feel indebted to them, and I started rubbing my beard when you said that, because that's how you know I'm thinking. That's how you know the wheels are turning, right? And I think about guys who the Cowboys are, and this is a manipulation tactic, so I'm going to use that word. I try to think about guys who the Cowboys have manipulated in negotiations. Mm-hmm. Do you think that they did that in a manner with Trevon Diggs? Because he actually signed early.
Yeah. No. I think Trevon Diggs, honestly, they probably got a jump on it, didn't manipulate it, and I think Trevon Diggs didn't want to just break the bank with them. Yeah. Because I think, I try to remember, I did a show on this. I think who was up in the pipe? Was it Ward?
Are you talking about other DBs?
Yeah, there's other DBs. There's other DBs that were coming up.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was kind of a bigger name.
The guy from Atlanta. What was it? Here from Atlanta.
Oh goodness, I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah, but it's like some of those guys were kind of coming up the pipe. So I think they probably made up a fair offer deal for Trevon. They kind of worked out, you know what I'm saying? So they might have made it easy. And here's the frustrating part, right, B? Yeah. Last year's offseason was night and day.
Absolutely.
Remember how quiet it was. Like we were just sitting there talking about whatever, doing mock drafts on Twitter. It's like, boom, we got Stephon Gilmore. Everybody run to your phones and drop a video because they quietly, and then it was like, okay, then we're chilling doing a live stream. I remember, and someone in the chat was like, we just signed Diggs. What? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not no slander campaign. So like we were just moving how our front office needs to move. Where I was sitting back saying, yo, this is different.
This is nice. I wish we could be like this every year, like a normal team.
And Cowboys said, all right, I got something for you, Tucker. Next offseason, they got something for you, bro. We gonna get loud. We gonna get, you know what I'm saying? Like pots and pans, everything's shaking right now. So I think with Diggs, it was a fair deal. It wasn't a crazy, like low bargain deal. It wasn't no Tyron Smith type deal. It was a fair deal, fair market deal, and Diggs just didn't want to break the bank. And they knew they were pressing up against time because you know they didn't get Diggs done. I mean, he was.
Then you would have had Diggs and CeeDee Lamb this year.
Yeah, Diggs and CeeDee Lamb, which have been crazy. So
absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I know this concept, right? Dave Chappelle mentioned this, and it was in a book. The book is called Pimp.
Okay.
Written by a great American named Iceberg Slim.
Okay. He
addressed the concept of pleasure and pain, and let me tell you how this goes back into the Cowboys. I'll come full circle for you. He said that, and excuse my language, chat. because I don't curse. He said, you take a coat hanger and you beat a hoe till she bleed, and then you run her a bath and get her a drink. And she'll be so glad that you fixed her that she forgot that you hurt her in the first place. And I believe that is a great allegory for the Cowboys, because the Cowboys love to negotiate via the media, sling mud in the media, slander guys' name. And once those guys eventually cave under the spotlight of public opinion and the Joneses, hard-lipped negotiation styles, then the front office goes around and, says that these guys are so amazing, we wouldn't want them anywhere but here. And that pressure goes away. So then the player can be so thankful that they no longer have to deal with that artificially manufactured slander, that they're just glad to be there, and they don't know that they got lowballed in the first place.
Right. Yeah, it's always some, like I said, some Suge Knight type tactics when it comes to Jerry. Like, I was joking online, but like, he reminds me of an old pimp. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing, is like, Jerry can say slick stuff where it's like, I don't know what he said, but it sounds good. I don't know what he said, y'all, but I think he said we going all in. You know what I'm saying? So I feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't say nothing about all in, but he kind of, you know what I'm saying, if you think about this and you mix the moon with the stars, and you know what I'm saying, you think about what we do, we're gonna be all in, baby. By the time you end up, we're gonna be good. And he was like, yeah, Jerry, we're gonna be all in.
Oh my goodness.
And so we just bought it blindly. And like you said, now here comes the whipping stick. So I think that's the frustrating part, is why does it have to be this way? And here's, I think, the biggest problem is with the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to these negotiations. There's no middleman. Here in Kansas City, right, you have Brett Veach, who's the GM. He's the middleman. So even if you don't like, Goldie Joe, you know what I'm saying? We make, put some goals in his mouth, you know what I'm saying? He's riding around, you know what I'm saying, Harry Hines Boulevard, you know what I'm saying, with some gas station wine. Like, that's a pimp. That's hard to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know a few pimps. But I was saying, like, when it comes to Brett Veach, right? If you don't want to deal with Clark Hunt, like, here's the difference, right? In Kansas City, bro, I seen Clark Hunt twice. And the only time I seen him at a banquet, and he only comes out to carry the Chiefs trophy and get it to Andy Reid, and he's up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how Clark Hunt is. But it's like, there's no middleman. So if you had a Will McClay, let's say Will McClay is GM, hey, listen, Dad, I know they tripping. I know they doing some BS right now. Listen, we really need you here. Like, let's try to work this out. Like, what do you want me to relay? Like, what are some things that are important to you? You know what I'm saying? Let me relay that back, and let me see if I can work this out between the both of y'all, because we value here. We need you to. So it kind of like, okay, I have me a middleman, but you talking to the direct person who you are negotiating with. It's lines in the sand, and rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where the Cowboys really get hurt, by having a president, GM, and owner that's doing everything. It's like there's no middleman to really break down these conversations and be in the in-between. So if you're up against and you're guarded against the front office, you're guarded their entire time. So when Todd France is like, they want to do, like, no, F them, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no in-between. So I think that's where Cowboys really hurt. But ultimately, these deals are going to need to get done. We're going to need to move forward. We're going to need to free up money. We're going to try to scrape up. And who does we sign? He's got some free agent.
Royce Freeman.
Yeah, Royce Freeman,
the running back. The Royce Freeman. Did he last play in Tampa? Was that his last destination?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Here's the thing. Like, when we get these free agents, I just like, whatever.
You gotta roll your eyes.
Tuck, who was he, man? You got any film on him? I do it. I'm absolutely not putting that out. You know what I'm saying? I'm saving my Tuesday evening. So we're gonna get some guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Some people probably gaslight him, like, oh, back in 2019, he was actually a leader. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I ain't doing none of that. But yeah, like, they're going to need to get these deals done to get some quality guys if you want to be serious about this roster. And that's the biggest problem. Is like, the Cowboys won't commit either way. Yeah, they won't completely go all in. Say, you know what, we're gonna go Rams mode or Eagles mode. We're gonna try to load up this roster and go all in and make a Super Bowl run this year. If things hit the fan, so be it. Or, you know what, I don't think Dak's the guy. I don't think we got the talent. I don't think Mike McCarthy's our guy. We're gonna tear all this down, and we're just gonna rebuild with picks and a younger team and just have a brand new look for Dallas Cowboys. It's in between. It's Absolutely. Like that guy who has a good girl. he don't want to marry her, but he don't want her to be with nobody else. So you just gonna keep just doing dirt, you know what I'm saying, and cheating, like, bro, like, just go be single. You know what I'm saying? That's how the Cowboys are right now. It's like, I don't want Dak. I'm not trying to marry him.
Yeah.
I don't want him to go in Vegas, because what if he's better without me? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I'm just gonna keep stringing along, lying, and hiding my phone, and just hope things work out. And so I just think that the Cowboys are just in a bad situation just structurally. And this is where you see me voicing my opinion about the front office, because it's something in the culture is why we're not getting over the hump. It's not Dak Prescott, it's not Dan Quinn, it's not Mike McCarthy. This has been going for 30 years. And what is the constant factor? Upstairs.
That's right. That's absolutely right. The one thing that the Cowboys do try to do consistently well, and this is a pivot of sorts, is the draft.
Mm-hmm.
You have been on your draft wizard-ish for the past couple months, Tuck. You are teaching people how to be better analysts when it comes to breaking down these prospects, the pros, the cons, positions of need on the team, etc. Mm-hmm. And I like when you do your live drafts, because you allow the chat to engage and be the ones who make the decision in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to the draft, what are you looking for the Cowboys and the prospect?
Yeah, it's interesting, because I know we always have the conversation about BPA versus needs, but as of right now, I just want talent. I just want to reload with talent. Now, what positions, we can always have the conversation, what's the priority? But I think this is about getting talent, instant impact, and especially after how last year's class went. I don't want to, it's just like, okay, a lot of people are saying, okay, well, who can make the second year leap? I'm not caring about the second year leap, bro. Like, you're saying, you got to get in where you fit in. Like, I love Deuce, you know what I'm saying? Like, I scouted Deuce, when he played here in the Big 12 versus my Kansas Jayhawks at the Big 12 conference. Great kid, love him, met him, everything. But we get another running back in Braylon Allen, bro. You just have to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to baby anybody from last year's draft class. And that's including Eric Scott, who lives in my own neighborhood. Like, that's all of them. So for me, I'm trying to load up talent. And I feel like with this wide receiver core, there's a lot of instant impact. I also feel like with these left tackles, there's instant impact. So for the two positions I'm looking at day one, I would strongly consider is either left tackle or wide receiver. And I repeat, left tackle, not a guy who played on the right.
Yeah, and he never played
left. Has never played left, but maybe because Tyron Smith did it. No, a pure left tackle who's been, you know what I'm saying, or left guard, right? If you want to kick Teller out, right? But left side player or an instant impact wide receiver. And then day two, we'll have the conversation whether it's linebacker or running back. But I felt like for me, I want instant impact. I feel like the first three picks, it should be like, okay, all right, now we good. If we coming back and doing these shows, I'm just like, I don't know, B. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know whether to wait till if there's I'll have to wait and see. That's not going to be good enough for me, especially with this class.
Now, see, I actually believe that this wide receiver class, I shouldn't even say I believe, this wide receiver class is very deep with talent. So while I do believe, sure, if the guy, and I'm just trying to think of a name like maybe Adonai Mitchell, somebody like that,
right,
from Texas, for those in the chat, maybe a guy like Adonai Mitchell or one of these other receivers falls, then sure, you can pick him up day one. But with the depth of the position, I think that you could actually wait on the wide receiver position. Are you interested in maybe trying to roll the dice on a guy, later, whether it's a guy like dang it, what is the guy's name? Xavier Legette or Malachi Corley, later.
So here's my concern with that. Yeah, I definitely agree, right? You can definitely replenish and get tons of talent in the second round. I'll be perfectly fine with that.
Yes.
I feel like there's clusters, right? We have the real big three, you know what I'm saying? Not Drake and Cole and Kendrick, but the real big three, right? So you have those three. And then after it's like a second cluster. That's the Mitchells, the Worthies, the Brian Thomases.
Coleman's.
Yeah.
Hey. Me and you right here.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman stand.
Yeah, I don't
right here.
Honestly, bro, I had no idea I would have to defend Keon Coleman this draft season. Like, that's why, like, a lot of people like, bro, we can do the film session of Keon Coleman. Like, there's no need because it was just it was a no brainer, right? But then when everyone's like, oh, he can't separate, he can't. I was like, oh, hell, I'm gonna go defend Keon Coleman. So yeah, it's like the Keon Coleman. Then after that, that's when you get into like the Troy Franklins and you get into the
Xavier Worthies,
and the Walkers and Javon Baker, like that kind of cluster. But here's my concern with that day too, possibly. I know how the Cowboys are.
Okay.
They don't be aggressive and move forward. They always kind of sit or move back. And I feel like if you're sitting there and there's Javon Bakers and Troy Franklins and Corleys and and Xavier, right? Yeah. You might say, oh hell no, let me just jump and go get those guys, and then you're getting a tier later. Now, here is the one argument I would make about wide receiver.
Okay.
Which I get. Boom, you have CeeDee Lamb, hopefully resign. Okay, it's your number one target. You have Brandon Cooks for 1 year. Jake Ferguson's opportunity should drastically increase. So how much value are you really going to get from your rookie wide receiver? And I think the Cowboys, put my Stephen Jones hat on, they're either going to roll out there with Tolbert and give him the opportunity to lose a position, or Jalen Brooks, right? So I think that's the reason why I'm kind of like not being as loud about wide receiver, even though I think that would be a huge shot in the arm. So for me personally, I'm thinking you have to go offensive line. It's the biggest need, but not only is there a need, there's a lot of quality talent that's not going to be there at 56. So if a Graham Barton slides, you grab him, you get the hell up out of there. Absolutely. Right? If you have Troy Patton's probably not going to happen, but if you have one of those guys, maybe like Tulis Fuaga, right, out of Oregon State, even though he's a right side guy, talent, you grab him. Me personally, I know people hate his index finger size. I love Jordan Morgan. I think he's a hit the ground runner kind of guy. And here's what I'll say about Jordan Morgan. He reminds me a lot of Matthew Bergeron, but I think he's a better who the Cowboys like last year. You know what I'm saying?
Loved Bergeron. And they were flip-flopping between him and Mozzie.
Right. Yeah, and the hand size is slightly off. You know what I'm saying? Tomato, right? So it's like that could be a consideration, but also Kingsley, somebody out of out of BYU, right? So he's a talented kid. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the tackle group, if you miss that early, is probably going to be depleted by the time you get to 56. So I don't think the Cowboys will trade back. If I had to bet money, I think they would reach back. The last two drafts, they reached back. And what do I mean by that? Mozzie Smith was in the first round grade unless Will McClay was on some of that gas station wine. He reached back because he didn't feel like Mozzie was going to be there, right?
Yes.
Even with Tyler Smith, I love Tyler Smith when I scouted him at Tulsa, right? But he wasn't a first round prospect. He was more of a project, but they felt like they were going to get him in the second round. So they reached back. I can see the Cowboys doing that same situation where it's a guy they really like, don't think he's going to get to him in the second round, and they reach back. And I think it's going to be an offensive lineman versus a wide receiver.
Do you think there's a situation where a defensive player could, be so alluring, so tantalizing that the team would be willing to take a defensive player? Like let's say Jerzon Newton is there.
Yeah.
Let's say Jerzon Newton is sitting on the board at 24. Would that make you rub your hands like Birdman enough to want to go dip on the defensive line?
There's a few, right? So it's Jerzon Newton or Johnny Newton, whatever you want to call him.
Johnny Tuck.
Yeah, Johnny. Johnny. You know what I'm saying? So you got him. You also got Latu out of UCLA. He's one of those guys.
Latu.
Yeah. You got Byron Murphy. So like those like the three guys defensively, I would probably just grab and just not care. Now here's the hard part, bro. We ain't heard Zimmer talk since his opening press conference. I don't know.
Very intriguing.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna get to cook or he's just, here so he don't get fired. You know what I'm saying? So like that's how much I don't know about Zimmer. But yeah, there's a few defensive guys. I mean, I know a lot of people are having a conversation about, linebacker. I could make a case for it. If it's Edgerrin Cooper, I could make a case for it.
Yeah.
Peyton Wilson, I love him.
Stand away from him.
I know.
I would not draft him until probably the third round.
I know, man, but I love this kid. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of those things, like it's a roll of dice, but like it's a huge roll of dice for at 2024, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like Edgerrin Cooper would be one of those guys. Like I want guys that when you watch him, you do enough film that jumps off the screen. You're just like, I ain't got, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I ain't got to watch no more. You know what I'm saying? It's there. And I feel like there's like 3 guys that would be there. Or, Jared Verse ain't gonna be there. But if you get one of those guys, I wish, yeah. But if you get one of those guys that are sitting there, you can snag them defensively. But honestly, I feel like this offensive tackle, this offensive line core, like the front cluster, is so talented. Where it's gonna be hard. Like, I love Graham Barton. I watched Graham Barton when he played versus Kansas 2 years ago, and I was like, who was that? You know what I'm saying? So there's guys like that has versatility.
Yeah,
it's there. Like, I feel like Graham Barton would be a guy that he just hits the ground running. You draft Graham Barton, plug him out there, you're good. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be. So yeah, so that's where I'll kind of be. But ultimately, if I had to gauge it, put money on today, I think the Cowboys are going offensive line.
I agree. And at 24, there would be only one offensive lineman that I would be nervous to draft. And I tweeted about this earlier today. It's Marius Mims out of Georgia, another injured guy, but the talent, just like Peyton Wilson, is there. The talent is crazy. He's an athletic marvel, body snatcher.
Right.
But his hips can't get right, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Especially with those bigger body guys. I mean, he's a creative player. And you mentioned just injuries, hips, ankle, plus he would be green on the left side. So it's just like, man, it's a lot of ifs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too many ifs for me at 24. Also, I know a lot of people are mocking him to us as Tyler Guyton. I like Tyler Guyton, but it's
he's firmly entrenched into that second tier guy.
I mean, yeah. It just, it just doesn't, it's just one of those. It's kind of like Mozzie, right? I understood why we went Mozzie last year, but I wasn't a huge fan of Mozzie, but I can get it because we needed to stop the run. But
and that's the crazy thing. He was the first guy that I watched, the very first one that I made a long form tweet about too.
Yeah, man. I wasn't a fan of Mozzie. I mean, he was cool, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like we could have got the same value for Mozzie later the draft. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like when you look at him, I watched him versus the guy from TCU last year, Steve Avila, right? And like you would see Mozzie flash. Boom, that's it. That's what we're looking for.
Yep.
5 minutes goes by, 6 minutes go by, 8 minutes go by, and it's like, all right, bro, we're
games go by.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, bro. So you would see the flashes of what it could be, but it wasn't consistent, and he had very low gas mileage where his motor wasn't revved up enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Byron Murphy, I don't have that problem. He stays revved up. You know what I'm saying? Jerzon Newton, revved up. Like, I want revved up guys, and I feel like those guys are going to be instant impact. I mean, yeah.
Would you consider a one tech at some point, I guess moderately early in the draft, to try to correct your error? There's another Michigan guy sitting out there, Chris Jenkins.
Yeah, and we talked about Chris Jenkins on the draft show the other day. Here's what Cowboys fans, listen, don't be mad at me. You need to prepare yourself. They was all at Michigan's pro day watching somebody. So you don't get that name called, whether it's a Junior Colson, whether it's a Chris Jenkins, like there's somebody at Michigan that they really have their eyes on, and I can see it being Chris Jenkins. And that's when everyone in the chat, another defensive lineman from Michigan, are you crazy? I'm done with this team, right? But they have their eyes on somebody. So Chris Jenkins could be that guy that the Cowboys can sit back and say, you know what, that's our guy. Like I said, the hardest part for me last year, it was easy because I know Dan Quinn was that guy. I knew his type. I just knew what Dan Quinn was looking for. I can easily cook for Dan Quinn. I don't know what Zion's plotting. You know what I'm saying? Are we gonna be a 4-3 traditionally? Are we gonna be a hybrid? Are we gonna be big Nick? Like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna keep what he did in Cincinnati? And I don't know. So, but I would think Chris Jenkins would be a good value pick.
Yeah. Me
personally, if I'm going one tech, I probably wouldn't do it to the third though. If I'm not getting the core defense. And I feel like as far as the one takes what the Cowboys fans are looking for, there's not a lot of them that can give you high. I know Javontre Sweat's kind of like the favorite, but it's just like I would probably get that with the third pick. I feel like we have more other important needs than that.
And you know who I love in that range? Dwayne Carter out of Duke.
Yeah, it's Dwayne Carter.
Shout out Lil Wayne.
Yeah,
love Dwayne Carter. And I think that he's better than a lot of people's favorite one tech.
Yeah. So Dwayne Carter, man, I talked about him heavily, man. But for some reason, I think in some mocks, I have him like in the 5th or 6th round. Like that'd be a hell of a steal. But the kid is phenomenal. You have Dwayne Carter, Nick Osa, you know what I'm saying? That gives you that value. I'm looking for motor. McKinley Jackson out of Texas A&M, another guy, motor guy. I'm looking for motors. And that's that's the first thing that jumps out for me on all film. And that's why I fell in love with Peyton Wilson, because that motor was just going, same burn.
Absolutely, man. And you know, Peyton Wilson, it's one of those guys where you love him, you want him to succeed, just not at that cost. You know?
Yeah. Second, I get it, man, because there's reports about him possibly missing the ACL or something like that. But man, shoot. Take mine, bro. I don't need it.
Yeah, man. Look,
yeah, you good, bro. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro. I love Peyton Wilson, but I also love Edgerrin Cooper as well. You know, so it's gonna be interesting because, like I said, the Cowboys have a lot of holes in different areas,
and only 3 picks within the top 150.
And not having that 4th round pick, man, it hurts us, man. It hurts.
You know, kind of touching on, you know, an erroneous statement that was taken as a leak by an insider. You know, the Cowboys already have their quarterback drafted. They drafted Trey Lance for all intents and purposes with their 4th round pick. So when guys like Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, you know, and what have you, say, oh, the Cowboys could be a team that could draft a quarterback sooner than you think, for all intents and purposes, they've already done that.
Right. Yeah, and that would be them saying, not only did we mess up by drafting Dak Prescott, we also messed up by trading for Trey Lance, and now we're going to like no, bro. They feel like Trey Lance is the guy. Like I was saying, you know, a second ago, what Cowboys fans need to prep themselves for is when we get to camp. Trey Lance was 10 of 10 today in drills.
You know, oh my god! And that's how they deal tough. Yeah. That is how they play games. They're just gonna whisper to a guy. Hey, did you see Trey today? Oh my goodness, I've never seen a ball so great. And he's just gonna walk away.
And bro,
they're just gonna walk away, and that's gonna hit the airways and go wild.
Them Trey Lance Twitter clips is gonna be in 4K, bro. 4K. You know what I'm saying? It's like that guy cool. He threw an interception or 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they gonna spin it, right? So that's what Cowboys fans need to prep themselves for. So yeah, our future quarterback is Trey Lance, right? And they spent a 4th round pick for him, so they're gonna give him every opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, to succeed, and it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be noise, pollution, all camp, because every throw is gonna be monitored to what Dak did. You know what I'm saying? So you know how they kind of had that what was his name, 3rd string quarterback, Will Greer game, right? When Will Greer kind of went crazy. Oh, they're gonna set Trey up for one of those. They're gonna set Trey up for one of those. Look how he did versus the Stars. I mean, he looked more consistent in the pocket than he was in and
that's how you can do. You can just gotta throw your head.
Like, and that's the sad part. Like doing what we do, and sometimes knowing what you know. Yeah, it's just like, bro, I'm exhausted, but I already know what's about to happen. I already know what's about to happen.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And the thing is, not everybody is on board with that, because you and I both know a couple people that are in that building. A lot of people just roll their eyes with it, but you know, for job security's sake, they just kind of. If it don't apply, let it fly in the opinions, you know. So they just go the other way,
right?
But it's one of those things where I hate to say that it has to be pushed, but I'll just say that it is pushed from within the organization. You know, in certain people, some of which I don't know,
right?
With those narratives, and it'll be heavily exaggerated, heavily. Now let me ask you this, Tuck, because you know I'm a fan of this guy. There are quarterbacks that are in that later category. I'm talking about 4th round, 5th round, and below. That you really got to ask yourself: is this guy better than Trey Lance? And if the answer is no, then it's not worth drafting him. If he were healthy today, do you think that Jordan Travis would be a better potential QB of the future / backup than Trey Lance? You know I'm a Jordan Travis stan.
Yeah. It's hard, right? Because I would say yes, because I feel like Trey Lance has the stature, he has the size, he has everything, but Jordan Travis has played bigger in a lot bigger games. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you were to surround Jordan Travis with talent, I think he'd be perfectly fine. So yeah, I think I would feel more comfortable if Jordan Travis was the guy. Now, me personally, I said this on Twitter, I don't want Jordan Travis in Dallas because I can't. You guys think Dak is a good kid.
Yeah.
Jordan Travis is an amazing kid, and I don't want him to deal with all the Cowboys BS that comes along. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bro, go somewhere, go to Tennessee or Minnesota where you can just be safe and just play football and enjoy life, man. Don't come over here because they're gonna be using you as leverage versus Dak, and then you have the Dak protectors hating Jordan Travis, and I'm like, nah, bro. Go to Minnesota, go to Vegas, go. You know what I'm saying? I want my guy to really prosper versus bringing him into the mess. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I would definitely have Jordan Travis over Trey. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of guys that, I mean, tough conversation, but if I'm Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, and I say, you know what? Nah, bro, we are not bringing Dak back unless he wins a Super Bowl or whatever. Like, he's out of here, which is dumb because you could try to trade him. Then if you have a Michael Penix sitting there, you know,
56.
Yeah, I mean, if he's pushed, then I mean, it's because here's the thing, right? Remember, we go back. The Cowboys considered drafting Jalen Hurts way back then, so this could be, you know, what I'm saying? Because I mean, you put Penix in his offense, then I mean, I'm feeling all right. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that would be the conversation if that's what they really think about Dak Prescott. But honestly, it's hard, right? Because for me personally, I want picks to help this season. But from reading the tea leaves, how they handle this all season, it looks like they don't give a damn about this season. You know what I'm saying? There might be a lot of futuristic picks where we're sitting back and thinking, oh, they drafted a right tackle. They might going to stash him because they're going to try to get out of Terrence Steele's deal, or, you know what I'm saying? Some stupid stuff like that. So we're always going to have to hold on tight, Cowboys Nation, next week and just hope they do the right thing, but we shall see.
Absolutely. I know that you'll be live, you know, each day. You know, I'll try to get in 1 or 2 live shows as well.
Yeah.
We've been going for almost an hour, Tuck. Anything else that you want to kind of say in conclusion?
No, man. Like I said, it's been a hard off season for us Cowboys Nation, but at the end of the day, we're gonna be fans, right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna cheer on this team, and maybe that's part of the problem. But you know, don't let it impact your fandom. And it's going to be hard. And I tell people, like I said this, you know, way back in February on Twitter, it was just like, this is going to be the hardest season, not for only Cowboys fans, but as content creators, because it's like, you're going to have to pull your motivation. And I think that's the most demoralizing thing is we want to win. And it feels like more than the front office wants to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I breaking down 350 draft prospects and y'all on a boat hanging out with Kid Rock? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like someone asked me that, like, damn, Tuck, you're looking at, like, I was talking on Twitter today. I was talking about HBCU prospects. Yeah. And someone's like, bro, you working harder than the Cowboys. I'm like, honestly, I probably am. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell am I? You know what I'm saying? What the hell am I scouting HBCU players when they probably not even looking at these guys yet? But it's because we love this team. You guys are watching this show. Me and B are doing this content because we love this team. We can't get rid of it. We can be frustrated with them. You know what I'm saying? Like we have kids, right? Sometimes my kids get on my last damn nerve, but I'm going to love them. I'm going to support them, right? So it's the same thing as Cowboys. So we're in this thing together. We're going to put our heads together, try to find solutions, help this team win. Hopefully they turn the corner, add some more players that can really help this team push to the next level. But at the end of the day, Cowboys Nation, we got each other, man. So I appreciate y'all support, man. I appreciate, you know, y'all being behind me, right or wrong, man. And, you know, I do this for you guys. I do it for us, giving us a platform because not a lot of people want to hear what we have to say. But I speak for not just me, but for the people who bleed it, who sleep it, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, who travel across the world to go to games, take their family, spend all these expensive prices, and we deserve better. And I'm continuing using my platform to be that, you know, that megaphone for Cowboys Nation.
Right. And hey, man, you're doing an excellent job. You're doing an excellent job. So yeah, man, you know, if you stuck with us for this long, if you stuck with us around, you listen to me, you know, give Tuck his flowers. You listen to Tuck talk about, you know, all the things that he's done, you know, for all of the guys around. Drop a like button below.
Hit the like, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. And people, it costs you nothing, man. But what happens is it spreads the awareness because there's a lot of people who don't know what we do. Like, and I think that's where a lot of people get me mixed up. It's like they think I'm just on Twitter. Like, there's a lot of people at 40,000 or whatever subscribe or followers on Twitter. There's people like, I don't know you had a YouTube channel. Like, bro, that's where I started because like they don't understand. Like for me personally, it's probably the same with you, B. Like Twitter is just like my rhyme book. You know what I'm saying? That's the rhyme book. Me coming to YouTube is where I put the show together. You know what I'm saying? That's where I put the song together. So I might kick around a draft prospect, and I might think about this free agent, and then I'm orchestrating all these different conversation pieces. And then when I come to the video or to the live show, that's where I'm putting all these pieces together. So a lot of people just think that all the work that we do is on Twitter. I'm like, no, bro, that's just because if you follow me on Twitter, that's why people are like, bro, your tweets seem so sporadic, because I'm just what happens if you
throwing the darts at the wall?
What happens if we were to get Michael Penix? Well, actually, what if happens if we were to trade back? Well, what if we traded back with Kansas City and they moved up? What happens if, I'm saying, well, I'm writing all that and you're looking at my Ron book and you can't read it, and all of a sudden I come to YouTube and I put this piece together where we're doing a mock draft and I'm trading back with Kansas City and I'm using that to leverage to get Jordan Morgan, but also, you know what I'm saying? So that's what people don't understand, man. But keep doing incredible work, Cowboys Nation. We appreciate each and every one of you for rocking with us. Absolutely.
And as always, I'm Brandon, the host of Frankly Football. I want to thank, Tuck for being the guest out here.
Appreciate you.
And until next time, as always, this is Frankly Football. Peace.